my trade recap. We have a very rare sighting on screen. That is a trade. I took a trade today. It's my second trade of this month. It would have been my third trade if I hadn't missed that one trade from I think it was last week. I've got a blanket. I'm sitting at my desk. I've got a blanket though, but I just gobbled up my words just then. But I've got a blanket because it's freezing and I lost my jumper that I was wearing all evening. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna break down this trade. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the emotions that I was feeling. I'm really, really happy with this trade. It actually profited me a really good amount, to the point where it got me into year to date trading profit, and then also it put me up a lot in profit this month. It's only my second trade, and if you're watching, you might not think the profit is crazy. For me personally, as a beginner trading a very small account size, I'm happy with it. Um, but yeah, I'm very happy with this trade. I'll just touch on some of the emotions that I was feeling though before we get started. I was so nervous during this trade. I think just because I've taken such a lack of trades this month because price action is not good and because like price has been so uncertain at all time highs, and it's always a bit of a gamble. Not really, but it's always a bit extra risky shorting at all time highs. So I was feeling a little bit skeptical when I was feeling a little bit skeptical when I did enter into the trade. Not particularly because of the strategy, but just because I had a bunch of thoughts in my head. But strategy was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted to see, which I'll go through later on. But yeah, midway through the trade, I had to do breathing exercises. I've actually got a video of me doing it. I was like, oh my god, this is actually hilarious. Like, let me take a video of me doing these breathing exercises. In the moment, I didn't think it was hilarious, so I'm telling you. This is me trying to calm myself down. You guys don't understand. My heart was like going pitter patter. Like my heart was beating so fast, and I don't think it was purely just because of the trade. Like I was risking like an amount that I was comfortable losing, but I think it was purely because I'd only taken my second trade, and the thought of my second trade of the month being a loss, considering I've been waiting so long for an A plus setup, was just eating at my brain, and especially just the fact that I would have had to announce it. Which is fine. Like everyone has losing trades. I don't know, just in the moment, that's what was going through my head and was giving me anxiety. So that's something we definitely have to prevent later on. But anyway, enough yapping. I'll just break down what I've basically seen. I'll also break down the analysis from this morning. So we can see price formed a low. Taking off this magnet thing. I learned about this magnet tool, but when I'm drawing my lines, it's so annoying. Okay, so we can see price formed this low here, it broke below this low. It basically made an indication to the downside. However, obviously, it didn't take this trade. Now you could have potentially taken the trade at this level, but I mean, come on, like no. Um, and then also price broke below this low, which again you could have taken a trade at this correction, but again no, just because that's the only bearish setup at all time highs. I didn't want to take. Wasn't bothered about catching the top of the move. I was just more like I want a high quality, high probability setup. So that's why I didn't take any of those. So anyway, we had this correction which formed a higher high to a wick, like it was a wick that formed a higher high, and then price broke below here. And by the way, this is all time highs. Price broke below here, made a correction, which was fun. And also when you're talking about candle closes, you're talking here. But it made a correction, and then I marked out the lows, which I used the candle closes as the lows, and I'll go onto a lower time frame to show you guys a little bit more of why. But and also the extra confluences that made me feel confident to get into the trade, even though we did have this like wick down. So basically had this low, but then I was using this low, and I was saying, okay, price has made an indication and a correction and a continuation. And you can see it's literally done a textbook perfect. So we'll scale in a little bit more. So again, we can see price breaks below this low, candle closes are here, makes a correction, doesn't correct all the way to that level, but it's a correction, and it's a good correction. So I'm like, okay, I'll accept that. I just cancelled my video, which was so annoying. But anyway, I forgot what I was up to. It just like flashed off, which is so weird. But anyway, price made this low. It made this correction, which I was happy with. It wasn't like a massive correction. It didn't go above this level for me to take an entry, but it formed a correction and it broke the low, which is where I was like, okay, well, like it is what it is. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to use this as the new low. As we can see, price is rejected from this area before, and then price made a huge rejection candle and closed here, and then pushed up higher, made a higher high, broke past this high. Not really like a higher high in terms of a high time frame, but I would just call it a correction in full honesty. I feel like this is more a internal structure. And yeah, price made an indication, so it came back to this level, and then it made an indication, correction, and continuation. Now I took this setup here, so I was basically just ignoring this wick altogether, because I was like, okay, it's a wick, like there's no structure in it, and yeah. And again, price closed above this level. It closed above the level perfectly, which gave me extra confidence. We'll scale down again. So we can see that price again broke past this low. It had some choppy movements here, and then it had just this massive displacement down at the start of the day and in Asia session as well, and then just came back up. Clearly didn't have the momentum to keep pushing it down. It had some bullish structure, and then had that bearish structure, and then formed that lower high, and then continued to go down. So because it formed a lower high here, I felt confident that, okay, this, and it broke back below this level, I felt confident, like, okay, this is going to form a new lower low. And we'll scale down again. So I don't know, maybe I should mark out so this is the indication, and this is the correction. I'm just going to mark that out so that when I scale down, you guys can see it a little bit better. Yeah, so I was pretty much just ignoring this altogether, I'm not gonna lie. Now, would that be the best decision? I'm not 100% sure, but to be honest, I felt confident in the setup. Like, I felt pretty confident, because if you look at the 1 hour, in terms of candle closes, we've formed a low, we formed a high, and we broke past that low, made a new indication, and corrected. And what also made me feel confident is, okay, if this was a true indication, price would have corrected and then continued back down to that level, but it didn't. It didn't do that. And even if it were to be an indication, it would be an indication, a correction, and then this could be just forming that internal structure to make that move down. Do you get what I mean? Okay, let's go on to the 5 minute. Let's analyze this correction. No, indication. My bad. So we can see that price formed a very clear market structure. Like, these are good market conditions just today. You can see that again, like, prices in terms of candle closes, obviously this is a lower low here, but in terms of the wicks, it's not exactly, but it's still forming that bearish structure. And my desktop turned off. So that structure was perfectly clean. We could see when price was going back onto that correction, because it was breaking highs, and it corrected with very clean price action here. And then look, a failure swing. A failure swing is something that I learned from Fractal Flow's market structure course, or price action course, and it was basically about identifying reversals when price fails to swing past a high. So obviously we're breaking highs on this correction, because if we're taking a bullish setup, the correction is going to be if we're taking a bearish setup, then the correction is going to be bullish. So we're breaking highs here on that correction, and then price fails to break a high, and not only does it fail to break a high, it forms a lower low. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is at the point where I was like, this looks like a good entry. Now, I was looking at this, I was like, should I enter? I was feeling a little bit like, not FOMO, but I was feeling like, once I saw this momentum candle, I was like, damn, should I just enter? Like, oh my gosh, this is a really good move. But I waited, and I saw price make a swing low here, and it made a lower high. And now you could have entered at this level, it would have been fine, because you would have seen prices made a lower high, and then you would have seen prices broken a low, therefore made a lower low, therefore indicating market structure loom today. Like, it's just not letting me record videos over 5 minutes. Like, look, we got this one here, and it's just not letting me record longer. So that's something I'm definitely going to need to look at, because that's annoying. Anyway, I basically said that to say that Loom stopped my video recording, which is lovely. But anyway, like I was saying, because we saw this lower high here and price break and form a lower low, we could have taken a trade off of here, but I just wanted to see extra confirmation and a little bit more information as to what price was doing, because there was always this low to break here, and if we moved on to the 15 minute, again, it wasn't breaking any lows on the 15 minute, so I wanted that extra confirmation that it was going to continue lower. So obviously it formed this swing low, and then it formed this swing high, and I'm like, okay, perfect. As soon as price breaks back below this level, we've got a wicked swing high here and a wicked swing low here. As soon as price breaks below here, I know that it's going bearish. I feel confident that it's going bearish, because high time frame, I literally zoomed out, high time frame is bearish. We've broken out of this bearish zone. The 15-minute is bearish. Everything is pointing towards bearish. You can see the momentum candles are pointing bearish. Like when I say the momentum candles, I'm talking about these candles. Like the big movements are mainly the sellers. So I felt very comfortable being able to take a position right at the breaker structure below this swing low. I felt super confident. And then once I was in the trade, I was so anxious. But you can see, again, the power of the strategy. And once you get into a trade, it really just goes straight into profit. And that's something I love so much about this strategy. It was just straight into profit. It had this tiny little retrace into drawdown, the tiniest little bit, and then just shot straight to my TP. I was super anxious. I was breathing funny. However, this was a good setup and I'm really, really happy with it. All these lines were different levels that I wanted price to cross, which obviously you can see it did end up crossing it. I was targeting basically where these candle closes were, so I think I was targeting like 18, like 4,018 where these candle closes were, because I did see a few rejections at this level, and I wasn't going to make that stop me getting into a trade because we want to sell into buyers still, just like Sky says. So I wasn't taking that as like a reason not to take an entry. I also didn't target this wick because I knew that there was an area of buyers sitting here that could push price up. So you can see that when we look at it here, prices just bought. Well, maybe I didn't need to do it that low. I don't know how I got the accuracy there, but price basically hit this level and it's bought back up. It's crossed past it, but still, there's clearly buyers around this level because that's where that wick is previously. So yeah, I took my whole position out around about here at a good spot, and now you can see prices going back on a correction. So we'll just see what price does later on, but that's basically today's trade. So I guess we can journal the trade. That will be fun. Let's do that together. Clear up my chart. Hopefully the recording doesn't just stop. Okay. This is my year-to-date profit, by the way. Year-to-date. It's not the flashiest thing ever, but that's because my first month was so bad. Like my first month before I started documenting my journey, before I properly back-tested my strategy, before I properly sat down and did real self-reflection, real journaling, it was not a good month. But now we're in year-to-date profit, and then we'll go to this month. This month you can see we've had only winners, $79 profit. Again, my profit doesn't look crazy, but to me, I'm happy. But again, that's 2 consecutive months of profit. I've been trading for 3 months. So if we go back to August, again, you can see, shocking month. This trade, I literally decided to size up. I decided to size up midway through. I was like, all right, let me risk 2%. And look at what price did. It just chopped around in my area. I don't know why I decided to take a trade with this big momentum candle. That was probably news. Like, yeah, it wasn't good. But it really came down to market experience and changing my risk to 2%. If I didn't have my risk at 2%, I wouldn't have been in profit that month, but it would have been a lot better on the loss side of things. It would have just been a $20. I don't know what it is about Loom. It's literally getting my nerves. But anyway, like I said, we've got consecutive profit. Again, this was my psychology, but I spoke about this. This is when I was documenting my journey, when I was being more picky with my trades. You can see like the actual quantity difference, taking 4 trades in a fortnight to taking like 5 trades in a month. But yeah, this was just a psychology problem. I took 2 trades a day, I broke barrels. But again, still 2 consecutive months of profit. And yeah, I don't know what that is in terms of win rate, but it really doesn't matter. We're focusing on today. But yeah, this month is looking a lot better than previously. So yeah, we can. Should I put this in my day? No, I'm going to put this in my trade. The trade recap instrument is gold. To get out of my blanket. Set up an opportunity observed, a bearish ICC setup. Reason for entry, it was clean. Market structure, clear. Seller momentum. And clean bearish ICC setup, excluding the wick. Risk was 1%, but I feel like it ended up being a little bit more because of the lot size calculator, because I had to round up. It was a win. The R multiple was, I think it was a 1 to 1.3. I think. Yeah, I actually got that right. Damn. But I think because I had to round it up, it obviously increased the risk. So that's why the actual amount that I earned was a bit different to like my other trades, if that makes sense. I don't know. Emotions during, I was so anxious. That's just me being real. During, I was so anxious. I had to do breathing exercises. Nothing wrong with that though. Did I follow my plan? Yes, I did. Mistakes noticed. Oh God, guys, it's 12. I really got to get to bed. I'm going to film my trading diaries episode after this, and then I'm going to leave my videos, edit them, and post them in the morning. Fingers crossed, but that is actually crazy. It's so late. Mistakes noticed is just being so overly emotional. And yeah, I was gonna say, like, excluding the wick was bad, but I feel like it was good. Obviously, I made profit on it. Maybe it's something I have to backtest a little bit more, but I don't see an issue with leaving out the wick because it was such an outlier on the 1 hour, and the 1 hour still closed above. But then again, when I was saying like, okay, if this actually was an indication, then my trade is still valid. So I think my discipline rating was probably a 9 because I didn't take out profit early, which I really wanted to do. Key takeaways: patience pays. What I'll do better: breathe more. And the screenshot chart markup. Let's get a... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. Oh, no, I didn't want that. No. Oh, now I have to do it again. Otherwise, I have to go all the way into my camera roll, which I don't like doing. Okay, and then we'll scale down into the 15-minute, and then screenshot there. And I might even scale all the way into the 5-minute because I want to know why I won the trade when I go back and I actually journal. I'll be able to see it. Alright. That's perfect. And again, look at the drawdown. I was in less than $10 of drawdown. So yeah, very happy about today's trade. I hope you guys had a great trading day. I was literally trying to say I'm trying to go quick so it doesn't stop the video. And look, I've got 4 different videos for this bloody video. Oh. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you guys had a great trading day. It's currently Thursday. So we'll see if the market gives any more opportunities for Friday. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great week. Wait, no, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Oh, so it's 12 o'clock. I was going to say, damn, it's going to be Friday tomorrow. No, it's not. I'm going to wake up and it's going to be Thursday. Anyway, I hope you guys had a great trading day. If you guys have any feedback on this trade, if you guys took this trade, let me know. I'm all ears. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your trading week. And I will speak to you guys tomorrow. Bye.